One of our clients asked us recently whether we could provide a function that would make it easier for them to manage the very, very large column set they have. They have hundreds of different columns, and when they're using Column Chooser, and they wanted to be able to find and to group columns in a easy way than they can at present. So in order to help them, we've got this new function called column categories. And the way it works is at design time, you specify which columns you want to be grouped together. You give that group a name, and then that group you can then use later in various places in the Adaptable Blotter. The group itself doesn't then get saved with your data source. It's merely something we add to your state in order for you to manage these columns. So how does it work? Well, here's some example JSON that you would ship with your predefined config. And you can see that we've created 3 column categories: pricing with a group of columns, MISC with these columns, and finally dates with these columns. Now it's worth bearing in mind that not every column needs to be in a category. They don't have to be at all, but you can only have one column in each category. Otherwise it wouldn't work. So how does that work? Well, let's go back to the Adaptable Blotter. And for instance, if we go into the column chooser and we remove all these columns here, you can now see our 3 categories appear. There's pricing, there's MISC, and there's dates. You can check them if you want to not see what's inside, and then you can obviously put them back. You can also search. So for instance, and these columns at the top are the ones which aren't in any category. So if I look for UPD, 2 columns come up: last updated by, which is not in any group, and last updated, which is in the dates group. When you add columns, then obviously you can add them like normal. So you can just add a column here, or you can drag one, but you can also do an entire group. So for instance, we can add everything in MISC, we can add everything in pricing, or we can say we just want those columns there. Okay, so that's the column chooser. You can, if you want to, also edit them through the GUI. So for instance, if we want to update MISC and say we no longer want status to be in that, we remove it, and now it becomes one of the columns that doesn't have a category. You can also use these column categories in other places as well. Let's give you an example. Let's imagine we want to build a style where we only want to see the columns in our pricing category. So we can now do that, because as well as being able to do a style at row or at column level, we can do it at column category level. So let's select the column category of pricing. Let's set the back color to be that, the fore color to be black. We'll make it bold and italic to make it more clear. And then we will say we're going to do that anywhere where the currency is EUR, GBP or USD. So there's the style, that's how it will look. Any column in the pricing category for those 3 currencies. Let's finish. And now there we are. You can see only the columns which are in the pricing category have had that style applied, and it works. So that's column categories, a way for you to conceptually group very, very large numbers of columns in an easy to manage way. Thanks for watching, and as ever, if you have any questions, please do get in touch with us.